Hello, here is a Defacto review with me, Jargal Tampadarja. We will highlight three important events to our mind that happened in Mongolia last week and that may impact in a bigger way on the way how Mongolians live. These topics for this review is first, the World Bank issues Mongolia economic update. Second topic is many aimags and soums celebrate the 100th years of anniversaries of their establishment. But still we have schools, kindergartens, other establishments having outside toilets, pit outhouses. Third topic is, the third topic is boilers privatization in aimag and soum and corruption. These are three topics I would like to highlight for this week. First topic, the World Bank issues another review for Mongolian economy for 2022 and 2023. So in this Mongolia economic review update, April 2023, the World Bank says that Mongolian economy recovered in 2022. In spite of global financial tightening, high oil and food prices, and border restrictions with China, Mongolia economy had recovered. However, this recovery was driven by a rapid recovery in exports and a robust consumption, while private investment remained weak. In fact, it was not the years of private sector investments in the economy. From supply side, growth is explained by the increased number of livestock and a rebound in services, while overall mining sector output contracted despite higher coal production. This is the main sector of Mongolian economy, which makes 90% of our export, a quarter of GDP. The economic rebound resulted in a robust employment growth and a low unemployment rate, but labor force participation remains below its pre-pandemic level. Supply bottlenecks, pressures on the prices of imported energy and food, together with significant exchange rate depreciation, resulted in higher inflation rates. Indeed, the inflation resulted today at the end of last year it was 15%. Nowadays it's at the level of 13%. Banks, mostly commercial banks, mostly participated in discounted loan and other programs of social care by the government. Since it is stopped after COVID-19, now banks remained cautious despite improving economic prospects. And they are now lending only people with the collateral, or they give loans backed by salaries, pensions, and deposits. Faced with rapidly rising prices and inflation expectations, as well as widening external imbalances, the central bank hiked its policy rate to a 7-year high and adjusted its macroprudential ratios. In fact, at the end of last year, the policy rate reached 13%, which of course raised all other interest rates of commercial banks. Despite persistently high fiscal expenditures, public finances slightly improved owing to a strong rebound in revenue performance. Yes, that's why the balance of payment had a little bit improved because income had increased, in particular those which is earning export earnings. Rising demand for imports, together with higher import prices, led to large external imbalance in 2022, despite a significant increase in export. But because after COVID, personal consumption had started to raise, because 2 years they have not been spending money for that, and tourism and other foreign trips have started increased. That's why this balance of payment had changed in that way. So what does the economic look for 2023? They are outlining, expecting the accelerated rate, 5 to 2% rate next year. In fact, in the World Bank report, they are very optimistic about the future growth of the economy. In 2023, it will be 5.2. In 24, 6.3. In 2025, even 6.8%. Real GDP growth at constant factor prices, it will be almost the same, 5.2, 6.3, and 6.8. And the inflation, they are forecasting that this year it will be 9.3%. In 2024, it will be 6.8%. And in 2025, 6%. Very optimistic figures we do expect. And the medium-term growth outlook remains favorable, with substantial improvements expected in mining output. But the need for further economic diversification persists. In fact, the country is expecting OT production will be increased twice in between 2023 and 2025. The other thing is risk will be less, they say, tilted to the downside. Additional inflationary pressures will be resulted from the war in Ukraine, larger than expected tightening of monetary policy in advanced economies, risk associated with sizable government contingent liabilities, including those related to Development Bank of Mongolia. So the other forecasting is the context emphasizes the importance of fiscal discipline, reforms to enhance governance to build macro fiscal resilience and improve fiscal sustainability. Mongol Bank actually, they are asking exchange rate flexibility. The World Bank is asking to have more flexibility, as Mongol Bank had spent a lot currency reserve for keeping this deflation of Mongolian tugriks steadily. In this World Bank report this year, particularly highlights labor market situation of Mongolia and challenges on this market. It says that in spite of the Vision 2050 and new recovery policy, employment is not increasing as much as expected. Why? Because we need more capacity to create good jobs and promote productive labor force. And they are explaining what are the challenges in that regard. They suggested that there are two main labor market challenges. One is to create more and better jobs that are also more diversified across sectors than in the recent past. Two, to develop a more inclusive labor market where the women, youth, and urban residents are encouraged to participate in a workforce involvement. It's easier said than done, because it doesn't say that why the labor market is shrinking or why not the productive labor market is not increasing. we know that many Mongolians are leaving for better salary jobs to Korea and other countries. And this report does not say in particular that who creates the jobs. Jobs are created by a private sector. And private sector are creating jobs and increasing their competitiveness only if they have a fair competition, good business environment, which are not existing today with more and more participation of state in the economy, because state-owned enterprises keep increasing and their weight in the economy is keep increasing. Accordingly, of course, their responsibility is many of them are working with losses, not profit. If it's a private company working like this, it will be bankrupted already. But not the state-owned enterprises. In spite of the situation, the current government is promising to restructure some 100 state-owned enterprises. It will be around 70, and many will be merged. So if it is done, then it will be a good contribution towards competition and towards making better business environment, and then it will be good condition for private companies to participate. The other thing is for that creation more jobs, the state role is to be very clear. They have to be less intervening into the free market principles, and also they should have a free prices, which is established by the market, not by the state. And there are several products, more than 30 products in Mongolia are being price restricted by the government. And so it should be more free prices, including the electricity and other goods. Without that, we have still remaining in the big demand, more demand than supply of electric energy, and we spend way expensive money for importing goods from electricity in particular from both neighbors. So this is a good document for economists, decision makers, and researchers. And this World Bank review, you can economic update you can see also on their website in Mongolian and in English, and in different format you can download and watch. So that's our first topic. So our second topic is about 100th anniversary of establishment of many aimags are celebrated this year. Yet we have so many, or almost in all aimags, we have so many pit hole toilets or outhouses. We highlight this topic because we spend a lot of money for celebration of this every anniversary, in particular the 100th years of establishment of aimags, soums in particular. Mongolians celebrate this anniversary so wide, big nadam, big festivities, everything. But we would like to draw attention of public to the very issue of this pit outhouse, how they call it, this wooden lantry in Mongolia. There was a government resolution in 2020 to decrease or to make all state-owned schools, kindergartens, to have toilet facilities inside their home, modern facility with the proper sanitary conditions. And the money, some 100 billion MNT, will be spent by Irtnit state-owned enterprise, copper plant in north of the country. So after 4 years, that goal was not achieved. And it was responsibility of Ministry of Education, though it is not very right way of management, I believe. It's not by chance that it is the goals was not achieved. Recently, there was a working group inspection in several aimags, including Arkhanga aimag, and they visited Hotont Soum, where the school had contracted a company, a particular company, under the key transfer conditions. But unfortunately, the company is a Giga Tira Tech company, and the company made this toilet inside of the school's building. But unfortunately, according to this correspondence, they made it without any proper feasibility, proper mapping, picture, or scheme. I don't understand how is it possible, but as a result, this toilet is not working anymore. It's broken. It smells bad, and the school director just closed the toilet. As a result, and the similar things happening in many aimags. People just spend money without any proper contract or inspection, and only they discover all this wrongdoing only after all this so-called new toilets doesn't function. Only one soum, Zafeng aimag Tutufte. They are doing good because they have done properly everything, and now students don't go at night, or the dorm students don't go at night to outside toilet, and it's cold for them, for many of them, and now they can have a proper shower. This year, Arkhanga, Tu, Zafeng, Hinti, Qoy, Alte, aimags. These 5 aimags will celebrate its 100 years of anniversary of establishment, and several soums, 4 soums in Zafeng aimag, in Arkhanga aimag, Ichtemir, Tariat, Khashat soums, 2 aimags, Bain Dilgir, Zamar, Irdin, Sant soums will celebrate 100 years of establishment. Yet they have all these outhouses, pit outhouses, and they need to pay attention and to increasing the conditions of, in particular, at least for the school establishments, kindergarten, etc. And the person in the Ministry of Ministry of Education, there is a General Department of Education. Mr. Nyamachur is the head. He explained that they tried. For example, they have a 4-stage work done. First and second stage covered 307 objects or schools or kindergartens, and they spent 55 billion MNT. And the cost of construction had increased substantially for the last 4 years, and now the money given by Irdinet company is not enough already, because we need to replan it now, recalculate the costs so that they can cover, for example, in 4th stage of this program, they need to cover 18 aimags and 92 soums, 243 objects, which the money is not enough. So 2 things from all this happenings coming. 1, we need the way of managing, because it's in Mongolia, the school buildings, kindergarten buildings are organized or built, coordinated by Ministry of Education. Yet it's just civil engineering facilities, which is to be created under certain standard, in particular in the case, because those schools which has not the toilet inside is because they don't have a proper infrastructure for all this facility, all this city or township. So it is a matter of having really properly planned and to establish it, to be implemented by professional companies. Second thing is, once we make a budget for particular the project, it should be also properly run by professionals, not just by school director. So in that way we can approach, and instead of spending tons of money for just celebration, we need to pay more attention to such issues, urgent issues for the safety and the health of our children, the main issues like toilet facilities to be modern, needing all sanitary conditions, and it should be inside of the schools' buildings. So we need to do a lot of works in that regard. I'm not saying about the Gir district pit outhouses in Ulaanbaatar city, which is a substantial part of the air and soil pollution in the Ulaanbaatar city. And Mongolia is, as a developing country, we need to do many jobs. First of all, we need to solve the issue of toilets in Mongolia. That's why I bring this to the attention of the people for this week. Our third topic is about the boilers that privatized in some aimags many years ago, according to bigger privatization plan. What actually happened was many of them are privatized through their political connection. As a result, they are those new owners of these boilers, heating boilers in all aimag and some center, are interested to, first of all, interested to receive budget money, which is given without any hesitation because it's cold country and heating is important. So they always get all money on time. And not everyone uses this money for just extending that services to public schools, kindergartens. There are usually 5, 6 buildings inside of each som and aimag, which including the, for example, administration building, school, children, hospitals, etc. And these buildings are heated anyway and at any cost. And the people, in many places, they are misusing the power and the heating system in that location. So I recently posted about that on my website, on my Facebook and Twitter, and saying that the de facto owner or de facto boss of each aimag and som are not the governor of each som or aimag. It's actually the owner of the heating boilers, because they heat anyway. They receive money not even without heating some buildings. They receive constant, permanent money based on the volume of that building. That's why a few years ago, that time ex-minister for education, even had switched school sport halls from their heating system. They put electric heating, and they put a counter, and the payment was some 5-6 times less than they would receive from those boilers, which are heated by, which are injected by coal. So because it's a coal-bedded boilers, the air pollution is so huge, not only in Ulaanbaatar, but in all aimag and some center in the winter, that becoming as black air, as a black sky as Ulaanbaatar was a few years ago. Now we use this different briquette, called briquette, and sometimes because in Ulaanbaatar city they use not properly, and recently on May 31, several people have lost their lives because they have closed either the chimney, or they have switched off the system that is controlling whether it is poisoned or not inside of the ger. So unfortunately we have lost some lives. So in each aimag and some, as I described now, need to have completely restructured, because these owners are really, as I said, becoming de facto bosses of the aimag. In some aimags, these people who own these boilers became the aimag governor. And some of them even became parliament member. And if they come through this way of receiving money and distributing among all these offices, public offices, and having them silence on misdoing, then this way doesn't work. And now these people who came to the power through this kind of a scheme, of course, will not do right things for public. So we are raising the issue also because in terms of environment concern, because these people who owns these boilers are not allowing other progressive methods of heating, including renewable energies. By all means, they somehow stop this kind of projects. So that's why I draw attention of public to this issue. Speaking about the case where the sport hall was separated from that heating by coal, after the ministry had gone, the new governor is ordered to put back into the heating system and stop the electric heating the way. So that's what's happening in Mongolia, and we really need to pay more attention to have more progressive renewable energy for heating and refurbishing the building so that they have a less leak of heat in the cold conditions, and reintroduce other sources of heating energy. This is our third topic. So thank you very much for watching our review. We have covered three topics. One is about the World Bank new update on economic development for last year and in the year to come. And the second about the celebrations in aimags and problems with pit outhouses. The third is about the boilers privatized, and consequently what happened and why we don't like the way how it is run today. So these are three topics. Thank you very much. See you later.